Hi, my name's Jack James. Welcome back to my channel. And I had an email come through the other day, and a guy's got a 15 user network, and he wants to know what sort of server, what am I spending on it, basically. So I wanted to run over some stuff that I use. And so first of all, we'll start with the server side. So the server, I will go for an unRAID server. unRAID is a piece of software you can download, runs off a memory stick, and it plugs into the USB port. You can boot from that operating system. What unRAID does basically is it turns a PC with lots of drive space into a NAS box. It also runs application server, and it also can be used as a virtualization host as well. So if you wanted to run NAS and a bit of virtualization as well, maybe running Microsoft Exchange in a Windows environment on this box, as well as long as this space is storing files, this is a perfect solution for you. So I've spent about £1,000 on a similar hardware like this. I've got a proper case down there. This is just for illustration purposes. So I've gone for like gigaboard, CPU, AMD. I've gone for because I wanted the more cores it supported, better for virtualization. That's the only reason why I've gone for 8 cores. The more cores, the better performance as well. I've gone 32 gig of onboard RAM. I've got in my unRAID box, not this one here, I've got 4 of these 3 terabyte hard drives in there, and in the back of it sits 2 500 gig SSD drives. I will go for at least 2 or 3 1 terabyte SSD drives and use that as your cache drives for unRAID. And then I will go for as many disks as you can get in your case. Make sure the case supports something, more than 5 or 6 disks at least. I've got 3 terabytes in mind, but I would like to later on upgrade mine to like at least 6 or 8, or even if I can afford it, 10s. 10s are very expensive. So you've got the money budget to go for more, depending on the storage space you want. You can actually really build this system up in unRAID, and unRAID has 3 licensing keys. The first one's 30-day trial, all unlimited, so you can fully test it all out basically. Second one, you pay a small fee, and it allows you to have 3 devices, which is 3 hard drives in the machine. The next fee up is about $70, and you can have up to 6 hard drives in there. And if you go for the one that's around about, I think it's about $80. I'm just going to check online while I'm doing this. So $59 basic, supports 6 attached storage drives. 6, sorry, they changed it there. Plus version is $89 and supports 12 attached drives, okay? And the Pro version, which is the unlimited attached drive, so you can have as many hard drives you can physically get in the case, or supports on the main board itself. And that's $129, which is it's a one-off fee basically, and then you've got it for more or less for life. And the updates come quite regularly. It's very easy because it's all built on Linux, so you can specify it to manually do it. It's all web GUI'd as well, so you can run it from the web browser from anywhere within the building, so it makes it manageable, really nice and manageable itself. And as I said, the unRAID actually works on, saves to a 32 gigabyte USB stick that plugs into the back of ports, and you boot from that. You don't boot from the drives, you boot from that. And that way, this is very basic setup. So on here, I've got 6 onboard SATA drives for my hard drive side. You can put additional cards in there to support more drives if you wanted to. So I'm using all the onboard stuff, so you're very basic. It's about £1,000 to get you a basic setup, depending on the size of the drives you want, because obviously price will go up as you want. Now it'll take care of everything. That'll be your main server. Then later on, you could probably buy this again and have that as a backup. So if the memory goes or the CPU, you can easily swap it out and change it around. unRAID is really good. Doesn't really matter. As long as you've got the same sort of spec hardware where it'll reboot and carry on as normal, which is great. And then, as I said, you can create virtual environments. If you want to run a Microsoft Exchange server and you wanted like a development server for the guys that are doing all the development side, you can run a virtual environment on here as well, and then they can remote desktop into it if they wanted to and stuff. And obviously this will deal with NAS, so you've got then be able to sign out some drive space for all your network users. So that's what I would use going forward. unRAID all the way. I've got unRAID in the office here, and I will stick to unRAID. I'm in thinking of building a mini version of unRAID on a smaller board, so I can put more drives in a box and have that as my archiving drive array, and then having my one that I've got currently got down here as my main workhorse. Because I did have two of these built, both running unRAID. So what I would do is I have a working server saving to it daily, and then I had the other unRAID mirroring that box. Every time I was doing stuff on that main box, it would mirror it across, because it runs some software on here which is called Sync, and you can literally just point, say I want all these folders on this machine sync into this machine over here, and it does it instantly. So every time you save, it's instantly copying it over, so you have a duplicate copy. And that's all part of what's on there. There's no additional cost. It's all part of unRAID. It's all in there. There's lots and lots of tools you can use that will do the job fantastically. So for the server side, I would choose unRAID. And we'll talk about network attached. We'll talk about switches next. What type of cabling to use. So yeah, we'll do that in the next video. So this is what I recommend for the server, at least anyway. I'll put the details in the description below for you to go and have a look, or to go and purchase and start building. So there you go. So this will easily handle more than 15 users, depending on the network card you use, type of switching you use as well. I could probably put 10 gigabit Ethernet on here onto 10 gigabit Ethernet server. I could have some powerful users running off of this, and I could just increase the disk drive space, probably change the motherboard to support more RAM. You can do that as well. When it comes to network switches, it doesn't matter. You can spend anything from a couple £100 to a few £1,000 easily on network switching. So for 15 users up to 50 users, I will go for something like the D-Links switches, 24 ports or the 48 ports. Under the bench here, I've got a D-Link. It's web enabled, so I can control the ports and open the ports, close the ports, mirror the ports. That's a whole ball game. There's lots of stuff you can do on it. I tend to use it very much as a basic switch for my network here. So in the house, I've got all my kids connecting to my server in here, and also got servers in here. I've got a Mac over there and various bits and pieces. I have a colleague comes here, drops in and drops stuff down on the network, and that works pretty well. And the switches, they came from me when I used to run my own business, so I've adopted my old switches, and they're over the 3 years old and they've been working really, really well. So in theory, the money I paid for them, it was about 250, 300 quid for the switch. It's actually paid it off. It's outlasted more than my servers have, you know. So it's a pretty good damn switch. I'll put the links below on the switch as well, so you don't have to spend a fortune on switches. It depends on what your users are actually doing on the network. So if they're currently power users, they're saving huge files on the network, then I'll go for 10 gig Ethernet side rather than the gigabit I currently run here. I've only got gigabit cards in the servers, in my PCs, and it's ample for the kids. The kids do video streaming. They save their GoPro footage on the server. I'm copying stuff to the server on a daily basis, and a gigabit is perfect for my network here. But if I was going for something more faster, more quicker, because you're loading and playing with lots of large files, then I'll go 10 gigabit Ethernet easily. The switches are not cheap. The cards, you have to look up to make sure PCs you buy do support 10 gigabit Ethernet, or you might be finding you're buying an additional card to go in as well. The current Macs, if you've got any Macs on your network, the current old Macs don't support, they need support up to gigabit. But the newer Macs that's just been released in Christmas last year, they now have built-in 10 gig Ethernet ports now for that side. So you would have to invest in a more expensive switch. Unfortunately, 10 gigabit Ethernet is quite popular, but it's not seen popular in size. So you probably get a 10 port switch, and you probably spend anything up to like £800 for. I looked last year for a 10 gig Ethernet switch. They were still very, very expensive, and they will still be expensive now. You can use standard for Cat5e or Cat6. I think I will go Cat6 all the way on the network. I currently run Cat6 cables, which is this blue one I keep showing you. But the cable runs around in here is only Cat5e, but it does the job for me here anyway. I copy a lot of large files over. I'm not expecting instant quick access. If I was, I'll probably want to be looking at 10 gigabit Ethernet. So make sure you install Cat6 on your network as well. Check. I will go wholesale. I will go and find a networking company that sells all this by box. So you're not actually going to like PC World or somewhere like that and just buying it by the meter. Go to a networking company where you live. I got one down the road from here and buy it in the box. So you can buy the Ethernet cables at 305 meters per box. They range from about £40 right up to £150, depending on whether you're going to go Cat 5, Cat 5e, Cat 6, and so forth. So I would definitely go Cat 6, because I think it's Cat 6 these days, and also make sure your fly and patch leads you use on the PCN are also Cat 6, and make sure your modules, your ports, your patch panels are all Cat 6 as well. I'm doing some videos at the moment how to patch in on a patch panel, how to patch in on a normal module, because obviously around the shed here I've got cables running around. I've actually put boxes on the wall itself and using modules so I can plug PCs and devices into it and stuff like that. I've got boxes inside the house. Each of the bedrooms have 2 ports per room as well. They're all then patched back here as well, so it makes a great little network. So yeah, so the switch inside, very simple and easy. Don't have to spend thousands of pounds on it. A reasonably okay gigabit switch, a couple £100 at least anyway. So let's talk about the other bits that you also probably need as well. Again, I'll put a list below, all the sort of components that very similar to what I run here, which I think will be ideal for 15 to 50 users easily for you. I won't worry about VLANing the networks. It can be... VLAN is only... I would only use VLAN if you're using a VoIP system and data on the same switch. And then I will then VLAN the VoIP off the network itself, so it's completely separated. That's the only time I would actually implement VLAN. But for this particular sort of scenario, I wouldn't worry about VLANing whatsoever. I keep it simple. Put it all on one switch. Easy enough to deal with. The development side, you talk about the development side, you need to work out from them what sort of access they want. Do they need a hardware server itself so they can just keep trashing and rebuilding and doing what they want to do on it? Then that way then you'll have to then sort of implement depending on what they want. Because if they're developing for a specific project, for a specific piece of hardware, they may need a brand name or something like that. But if it's just running Linux and running sort of business applications on top of Linux, or they're developing something for Linux, then I would leave unRAID as your main server, give them access to two or three virtual Linux servers with their flavor Linux they want on it. They can access that remotely quite easily from their own desktops, and that way if they trash it, it won't trash the unRAID box. The unRAID box will be safe. You can then trash the virtualization, create a new one for them they wanted to do, and easy enough, so you don't have to worry about hardware. Or you can do, because you've also got a budget of up to £3,000 here, you could build an unRAID box similar to what you've got, so they can create lots of virtualized environments. The box will be restricted to how many cores, how much RAM you got, how many virtual servers you can run inside. But to be honest, if they only need one Linux box for their developing side, I will virtualize it, give them access to that, quite simple and easy on the unRAID box. And it's one server to maintain, less electricity for you, and less ports have to use up in the switch as well when you come to that. With the unRAID box, you can stick in multiple network cards as well, and you can then load balance the cards in there, so that if you wanted to give one network card a dedicated for the development team on their own switch, you can do that. They can all still talk nicely together and keeping things really simple. Or bond all the network cards up, creating a nice fast output that's load balanced as well. So that way, when people are saving on the network, it's not going to slow the network. It's not going to slow the network down for anybody else. This unRAID box I currently use, which is down behind these boxes here, I have 4 network cards, and they're all bonded together as one big card. So in theory, I've got 4 gigs of going in and out of the box itself across the switches. That's ample for what I do. You know, kids are streaming films from the Plex player that's also on the unRAID box. So it works fine. There's no sort of lagginess on the network at all, and that works perfectly. I haven't spent a fortune on here, so I probably spent on the unRAID server about £1,000 on hardware. Again, I've adopted the switch, which is over in the corner there, which was about £250. The cabling about say £60 for the box in here, and these wall ports I've purchased as well. So back boxes, face plates, and the modules to go into those. So you're probably looking at like a whole box like this, fascia plate, 2 modules in a box. You're probably looking about £5 per user as well, because you'll probably want to put 2 ports, maybe 1 for phone, 1 for data, or 2 for data, and sit underneath their desk, cable it out nice and easy that way. So not very expensive. So you could probably do it all under that budget itself, bit by bit basically. That's what I would do, bit by bit. definitely buy them wholesale. So make sure you find a networking company that sells the networking cable in a box, as I said before, and then you get a better deal as well. And I'll always bargain with people as well. The switches are very much available from Amazon. I'll tell you I'll comment below on here the switch makes that I'm actually using and I'm happy with, and again, it's over 3 years old and it's still running, so I definitely got my money's worth out of that one anyway. So hopefully this is all helpful. Again, with this video I've done, if there's any specific you want to go into, or something you've missed out in your email and you've not thought about it and you think, oh yeah, I remember now, send me another email and I can do a follow-up video on this to help you out anyway. So thanks for sending me an email, and hopefully that helps you a bit more. If not, I can go into a bit more detail and I can create small videos for you to help you along and get that network set up for you. So thanks for watching, guys, and thank you for the email that created this video. So cheers. Well, more videos like this coming out very soon. Again, if you're having a network similar to this one as well and you want some advice, not quite sure what to go for, then give me a shout by my email address, which I'll put in the description below, and I'll do a video like this for you. So thanks again. If you're not a subscriber already, remember to hit that subscribe button over here somewhere. It's normally around there. Thumbs up on the video if you like it, thumbs down if you don't like it, and check out my Facebook page, and see you on the next one. Cheers.